As a pastor and counselor, I've spent the better part of my life equipping and training others. My goal with this show is to translate my hard-earned experience into tools and tactics to help you become stronger as a man. This is the BraveCo Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Vellet. Hey, BraveCo Men, if you are looking for the ultimate adventure, we have the thing for you. It's our BraveCo experience happening October 23rd through the 27th. We're going to spend 4 days together as men, hanging out, having a blast. You're also going to learn how to shoot long range. So if you've never learned how to shoot long range before and you like shooting guns, this is the ultimate adventure. We shoot out to 1,400 yards. If you have your own gun, you can bring your own gun. If you don't actually own your own rifle system to shoot out that far, we have one for you. And if you've never shot a rifle before, but you want to try and learn, no problem. Even if you don't know how, we'll teach you all of the skills that you need to do this. We also do high ropes courses. There will be a ton of connection time, really good food, professional chefs that we hire to come out there and cook for us. The stuff is great. So if you're looking to get out, have an incredible time, go to braveco.org, check out our events page, and you can see what's coming up there. Welcome back to the BraveCo Podcast, men. This week, well, you can guess who's on. It's Cole.
What's up, guys?
If they're watching I almost said in person. If they're watching, they can see your beautiful face. Dude, you've grown out some stuff. What's happening? Take that hat off. Whoa. He's flipping his mane around.
That's right.
He's trying to look like Brad Pitt, 2002, like Legends of the Fall.
I prefer Bradley Cooper, 2024.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. So Cole's a mega church leader now.
Yeah.
In case you haven't heard.
Not
I don't know
so
that
much.
we announced that, but he is.
He's
leading a mega church. He's in it to win it. Church is growing for you, man.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
Nope, it's not.
I'm excited to talk about this. We went back and forth. We were going to talk about one subject and then, and we were going to
accidentally coming back to this subject.
We were going to save this one for later, but we found ourselves talking about it. So, gosh, dang, dude, we're going to jump in. You have been wasting tons of time in your life recently. And well, I shouldn't even say
I wouldn't
recently.
even say recently.
You spent most of your life.
Most of your life. I basically spent my life wasting time.
It's true. It's true. And
nobody can humble you like Jason Valadin can humble you.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you.
Well, it's the counselor in me, Cole. It's me sharpening.
I don't feel counseled.
It's the
at
brother,
all.
Iron sharpening.
I don't
iron.
feel comforted, counseled, or heard.
But today we're going to talk about the Ruthless Elimination of Hurry book that you've been reading.
Yeah.
And I just want to be really clear. I haven't read this book.
We know. We can see by your lifestyle.
I'm not fully living this life right now.
We know.
But I'm super intrigued.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I'm going to set this up because I think that all of us love this idea of eliminating like rush and hurry.
Yeah.
But inside there's this turmoil, right? Like I have this other side of me that's like, I can't afford to not hustle. I can't afford to not I mean, when I think about, okay, what happened was you walked in here today and you pulled out your flip phone.
Which, by the way, my family is calling Flippy, and I'm getting mocked daily by my sons.
Bro, you pull out your flip phone.
If you want to absolutely ruin your son's respect of you, I've learned.
Yeah.
Get rid of your iPhone and get a flip phone.
Get a flip phone, dude.
Yeah.
So I grabbed your flip phone and I said, bro, is this your purity plan? And to which you responded like, no, dude, I've been reading this book and it's changing my life and I'm part of a new cult.
It's called Bethel.
Bro, no. We're not making any Bethel jokes today. It's called Risen King. That's what it's called.
It is. And
It's your
that
new
sounds
church.
like way more cultish anyways.
It does. So anyways, dude, I mean, we all want to go down this road, I think, of not being so distracted.
Yeah.
I'm jealous right now. Do you know what this feels like sitting in my shoes? It feels like looking at someone who just went on an all meat diet and they're like 3 months into it. And you ask them like, how are you feeling? They're like, bro, I've never felt better in my life.
Yeah.
And you so want to be them, but you know that you're not.
I feel like 90% of your diet is all meat anyways.
But you're still not that guy.
It's still not that guy. I don't know. Jason will intentionally avoid vegetables. Like, don't bring, like when we're eating with our friends, we just did this 2 weeks ago. We're having dinner, bunch of us, everybody sits down, full plates. Everybody got a plate like adults get a plate, right? The meat, the vegetables, the potatoes.
True.
Jason's,
like the government has taught you to eat.
Jason's is meat and meat. And everyone's like, is there a 12-year-old eating here?
Yeah, bro. I eat the most expensive things first, dude. I gotta get my money's worth.
Oh, the day that Jason eats a leaf in front of me, I don't know what I'll do.
Yeah. Well,
anyways,
we're not talking about that, but, so dude, talk us through like, what's the concept? How did you get onto this for starters? And then take us through the concept.
Kate read it a couple years ago. And since then has been like, we need to do this. We need to do this. Sabbath, solitude, all this stuff. There's language in it. And truthfully, I've always felt like, not always, since 2014, when I was on the verge of burnout, stop it. Stop it. You're waiting for what I'm about to say so you can mock it. Just let me talk first. So 2014, before I knew you, there was a pre-Jason time in my life. It was glorious, peaceful, blissful, uninterrupted. And we had done this youth conference and for like 6 months had put everything into preparing for this. And then when it got over with, we were like, we literally don't know what to do now. Like my brain had spent so much time on this project that when the project was over, it was like, where do I go now? Like, I don't know what to do with my time. Yeah. And I actually, that was in February, was on a pretty like burnout course of no passion, exhaustion, not wanting to do anything. And then I also realized we don't take breaks.
Yeah.
Right. And so one Thursday, I book a trip for Kate and I to go on a vacation. The two of us go on vacation. I get someone to watch the kids. We spend 5 days together. And since then, we have done a vacation with just the two of us every single year.
Every week.
Not every week. Every year. Every week.
Oh, be honest.
Every week. I wish every week. Every year. We do a trip with the kids every year. I think that was the moment where I have done a better job of shutting off. Now, as our kids have got older, I feel like I have gotten more busy, not necessarily with work, but with kids and life and sports and stuff, right? So like, I think that we're currently at a spot where my life's probably as hectic as it was back then, but just with different things.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I would agree.
Then it was just all ministry. And I've, in my head, said, well, it's personal. It's the kids. It's their life and their sports. So I'm not a workaholic or overworking. I'm just, doing stuff for the kids. All that to say, we're doing a series at our church. We're doing a Sabbath series. And I thought, okay, I'll probably read this book for Caitlin as research to prep for the messages for the Sabbath series. Because I'm like, I've got this figured out. Like, I shut my brain off pretty well at night, don't frantically respond to stuff. All that. So I start reading the book in prep for the series, and I am like, I thought I knew what the book was, right? Can we pause right there and I shut that off?
Is that your flip phone? No, bro, we don't have to pause. Literally right now, Cole's getting a phone call on his flip phone. No, dude.
I turn this.
ever.
I haven't been able to figure out how to turn it off. All right.
I hope people are enjoying this as much as I'm enjoying this.
I hope they are too. So I'm starting to read it, and the reason I hadn't read it is because I thought I knew it. Like, it wants you to slow down, right? Like, I'm going as fast as I need to, and I start reading it. I'm like, it actually isn't about being less productive or not working hard or not grinding. What it really is about is it's about getting your idle time back. He doesn't say work 3 days a week. Yeah. He says work 6, take a day off. Like, it's not like this wild, crazy, go move out into the woods. What he's talking about is taking back the moments that are stolen from you that you don't realize are being stolen because you've slowly slipped into allowing yourself to be controlled by everything outside. And I would say I completely describe myself that way. Yeah. I felt like I was controlled by everything external. I didn't feel like I had a ton of control.
Did you recognize that before you read the book? Like, were you walking around going, everything's stealing, like, I'm losing so much time in the day from X, Y, and Z?
I think I was starting to realize it specifically in regards to my phone for me personally. Okay. So for me, I felt like it was mostly that. Here's a very multiple times a day. Here's the trend for me. I get a text, I get an email. I'm looking for an email that I got to answer. Pop my phone open, now I pop it open. Yeah. Turn it on, look at the text, look at the email, get done with that, and then wander. For me, shopgoodwill.com, this auction site for Goodwill. I'd go and see if there's anything cheap. Just want to check it out real quick. Then I'd read an article about whatever, right? Like a big news story, the politics, da-da-da-da-da. Then I'd be like, oh, maybe I should check on Facebook and see if anybody's posted or Facebook Marketplace. Before I know it, I could be 45 or even an hour and a half into a complete waste of mind worthlessness. Yeah. And that I was becoming aware of. Like, I feel like I've been aware of that for about 6 months. I've been thinking about a flip phone for about 6 months. Well, he then unpacks, and it makes so much sense because I've read a bunch of Caroline Leaf, the
Caroline Leaf, yes.
Caroline Leaf, the neuroscientist. Yep. And one of the things that always stuck out to me is that your best brain space is your idle time when you let your mind just run and wander, where you have nothing to do and you're sitting and you let your mind just go to whatever thoughts your mind wants to go to. And she said, you're going to solve problems that you've been consciously trying to solve. You're going to come up with ideas for things. Your brain's actually going to create. And after reading the book, I realized I don't have any more idle space. My mind doesn't wander anymore. Right. Because the moment I'm in between something, I'm on my phone. Instantly, almost. One of the things he says is if your phone is in the room that you're in, you are mentally aware that the phone is calling, whether it's calling or not. And they're actually doing studies to show that our IQ actually drops when our phone is in the room with us, where our brain's actually working at a lower level of thinking because of what it does.
You're multitasking.
Right. So for me, I would say the biggest area right now for me in this is wanting to get back control of my in-between moments. I'll just say this last thing and then jump in. The two big moments that really caused me to make the jump. Number one, realizing now as being a lead pastor of a small church that is growing, right now, from here on out, I determine what our culture is at our church. Yeah. I determine, for the first time in my life, I have total control over my schedule, total control over my environment, total control over the environment for the people that work with us. Like, I'm at nobody's mercy besides my own. Yeah. And so I don't get to blame anybody, not that I could have ever before, but even less so now. Mm-hmm. What my life is what I've allowed it to become. Very, very real for me. Like, that thought hit me. And then the second thing was flying. As I'm reading this book, it was over 4th of July weekend, and we're flying home from Michigan, where we go for the 4th every year. And I look over in the 2 seats next to me in the plane, and my youngest 2 are just playing together so well. Like Cade and Chloe have such a beautiful bond and connection, and he's such a good big brother. The kid is going to be a catch one day when he gets married.
Yeah, he's
and
great.
He is, and they're just having fun and laughing. And he's, well, you can do this, Chloe. I'll do that later. Like just. And I'm watching this for, 4 or 5 minutes, not like a long amount of time. And I thought, what? I never see them play together anymore. And my brain keeps going. I go down this path. I'm like, well, they always play together. I just don't see it. Because the moment I don't have something to do, I'm wasting it. And then this thought hit me, how many moments have I missed that could have been a spontaneous conversation with one of my kids, with my wife, an unexpected moment. It's easy for me to quantify the sports game to be at, the need that has to be filled. It's easy for me to say this is on the schedule. I've got to be there.
Right.
What I hadn't accounted for or had language for was the in-between moments that can be just as powerful. And now Caleb, my 14-year-old's a high schooler. I've got 4 more years with him. That's it. Like, I want spontaneous moments. So like even today before we came, I had come home from lunch from work. Caleb's sitting there on the couch. He'd been playing pickleball. And I'm sitting there. We're talking. He's telling me about a story from last night. I'm fully engaged in what he's telling me. I don't really care. He's talking about some friends that TP'd.
Yeah.
But I even am noticing, leaning in, I go, hey, you want to go grab lunch quick? He's like, yeah, that'd be great. And the 2 of us just went and had lunch together. And yeah, I'm more aware right now. Like I'm trying to be more on purpose. Yeah. But I'm realizing I'm missing some really valuable spontaneity and connection that I really want and I crave and I want to have a part of my life that I think for me, the phone was what I look at as, well, that's a big piece to this. And I need to remove that because I don't have the discipline to have that in my hand and say no to it.
I'm just curious because I think the phone, like, I would say social media is an obvious one for people. And probably texting.
Yeah.
Like what else in there are you addressing where you're like, what else is a common thing that he's underlying in the book that's like?
Yeah, he talks about the value of silence, about how important it is to spend I can't remember exactly what time stamp he put on it, but 30 to 60 minutes a day where you're literally just in silence. And you think about it, you're like, that is never.
Yeah. Got a podcast going, or like I have a podcast on, I've got music.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you're never in silence. So he talks about the value of silence and solitude. Like I'm only 70% of the way through it.
Yeah.
For me, 70% in like a week right now is fast for reading a book because I don't love to read. So it's like I'm moving through this quick because I'm loving the content so much. But silence and solitude is a big part of it. And allowing your brain and your mind and everything to just reset. Like really, it's like turning the computer off and giving it a chance to reboot. He's really big on Sabbath.
Can you talk through like, I mean, I think most people would go Sabbath is, taking a day off.
Yeah.
Does he go deeper into it?
He does. It really Sabbath, the way that they do it is dinner on Friday till dinner on Saturday, full 24 hours. And it is no screens, no anything. They do nothing besides, he said, we sleep, we make love, and we eat. And we eat a lot. And it's, so it's a very intentional way to say today is about rest and worship. I'm worshiping the Lord today and I'm resting today. Those are my 2 goals. I have no other goal than to do those 2 things. And I'm going to do those by going slow, playing cards with my kids. We're not going to be watching this or doing that. And so
have you guys adopted that?
We haven't.
Yeah.
Caitlin has wanted to. That would take, like if I just cut off my right arm with my phone, we'd have to cut our left arm off, right? Because it's like Monday through Friday is We're in the office. The kids are in school. Saturdays are baseball games for us most of the time with the boys.
Yeah.
Sundays are church. Like somebody'd have to sacrifice something, and probably it'd be the boys with their sports. I don't know how we would not do sports on Saturdays, right? And one of the things he does say, which I appreciate, is he said, everybody's season of life is different.
Yeah.
And so this isn't like his season. He's capable of doing things differently than you would. I think that Caitlin and I, what we tend to do is to go Sunday night to Monday night for the two of us. Right. Because the kids are in school. When you have kids, it's hard to call it a Sabbath. Yeah, 100%. Especially the age of ours, they still take a lot. Yeah. A lot of fights to put out. Yeah. Like I'll spend all day on Sabbath just being
screaming
angry
at your kids. I'm having a Sabbath.
It's Sabbath, you little bugger! Stop it. Yeah. So no, it's something we are going to do, and Kate has every intention to. I do too. I think that's a harder one for me to wrap my mind around right now of how that's practical. Yeah. But I also think it's necessary.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So obviously back to, this is an area of my life that I'd love to grow in. And there's such a piece inside of me that says being in your phone equals efficiency. Mm-hmm. It equals production. Yeah. Like my brain right now is going, okay, well, how are you going to be productive if you don't have your phone around? How are you going to stay in connection with X, Y, and Z? With BraveCo, the truth is I am intentional to text a certain number of people to stay in connection with them. Yeah. Guys that don't live here that I care about right. Yeah. And then for me, I have BraveCo that's online. I have Jason Valta Ministries that's online. I'm online a lot. Yeah. Whether it's posting on Instagram, responding to messages on there. And so part of what I was thinking is my phone needs to have hours.
Yep. And that's the thing that is possible. I'm not necessarily advocating for flip phones, but this is at $80 from Best Buy. It's an unlocked phone. So all I have to do is switch the SIM card back and forth. Yeah. So my plan is to do this for a few months and see if I feel like I've built enough habit to say, okay, I think I can manage myself better than I was previously managing it. I think the other thing with what you're saying is something I've thought about, and here's what got me over that hump. There isn't much that I can do on my phone that I can't do on my iPad or my computer. Yeah. Right? Like most of what I can do on my phone, I can also do on that. And so just the posture or the context change of sitting down in front of my computer or in front of my iPad to do the work, to answer the emails, and to then just be disciplined enough to say, it's okay to not do this if I'm not sitting in front of my computer or iPad mentally choosing to work right now. Yeah. I think what this hopefully is going to do for me is it's going to not let me work when I shouldn't be working. It's not going to let me get distracted when I shouldn't be distracted. I actually don't know that it's going to hurt my productivity in the sense because now when I sit down to work, my brain has said it's work time. Yeah. So now let's go to work. We're going to spend the next 2 hours answering emails, doing this, working through that. One of the things that I'm planning to do is to wipe my email box out, start from scratch and keep it at 0 every day before I leave the office. So that's a goal of mine. Every email goes answered by the end of the day. The irony is my email box has never went unanswered ever, even with a phone looking at my freaking emails all the time. Yeah. It still doesn't ever go unanswered. The phone actually doesn't feel like it's making me more productive because I always feel like I have more to do.
Yeah. So I was listening to someone talk the other day and they were talking about how inefficient we are when we start a task, get interrupted, and then have to come back to it. So for instance, you're prepping a message.
Yeah.
And partway through the message, you scroll Instagram.
Yep.
And then you come back to the message. Now it takes like, they were saying like, takes like X amount of minutes
to get back in.
Yeah. For your brain to like get back in and to catch back up to where you were. And then we get interrupted. Like how many times in a day do we get interrupted? And so like for me, there's value. The value that I would see in my own personal life would be that a couple of pieces. Like I think if I could better schedule out my day, and I live by a schedule. Like I teach people to live it. I don't teach them in the sense that I'm teaching them how to. I like tell people you have to live by a schedule because I live by a schedule.
Yeah.
But if I had a better sense every single day of the things that I have to do every day, like like I said, there are a certain amount of guys that I reach out to and connect with every single day because I want to. It's part of my job. It's part of what I'm building.
Yeah.
And that could literally be put into, instead of just having to remember like, oh, I should text.
Could be a list that you do every morning at 9.
Yeah. And then even the online stuff could easily be okay, for the next hour, I'm on Instagram getting ideas, responding to people, creating content, right? And that's my hour. And I think that my life would be much more efficient and I would feel less rushed
and stressed, and that your brain isn't running when it shouldn't be running.
Yeah.
That's what I want to get rid of.
Yeah. No, it's true. I like that.
It is like the block scheduling, almost the compartmentalizing. So the ideal day that I'm creating for myself is silence at 7 a.m. when I get up. Kids are almost always sleeping.
Why silence?
Right now because that's one of the big things is I want to start doing 30 minutes of just silence. I've done it every day this week. It's been unbelievable.
It's great.
Just almost like just breathing.
Yeah.
Phone's not near me. Computer's not near me. Silence.
Yep.
Then time with the Lord, reading.
So your silence isn't time with the Lord?
So it could end up being, but it's the intent of silence is just silence, thoughts to myself, let my mind run, prayer, but you're just not doing active listening, right? You're just, where it goes, as long as it's not going to a distraction. Then time with the Lord. And then when I get into 8 to 9 is normally, like right now in the summer, get the kids breakfast, get to the office by 9 o'clock. 9, I'm going to sit down at 9 o'clock and I'm going to work on I'm going to spend 30 minutes every day working on my message as opposed to a big chunk, right? Or maybe 45 minutes for Sunday prepping and letting it ruminate in my spirit all week long, letting the Lord really speak different things each day. And then at 10, I'm going to designate 10 to noon. I'm on my computer doing computer work. I'm answering emails. I'm working on a contract. I'm following up, Lunches and afternoons are for meetings for people. And then I'm going to do a recheck of emails at 4 o'clock at the end of the day. When I'm done at 5, I've been leaving my computer at the office, not taking it home with me. So that, and now even more so with this being my phone, I'm going to go home and like, what's the fam doing tonight? Let's have dinner together. It's just, I'm envisioning, again, I want to say I'm a weekend. So I'm far from having all of this built. I'm super tired this week because I'm fasting caffeine and I drink like 2 cups of coffee a day.
Look at you.
So, I'm very much a raw work in process on this. But that's the ideal week that I'm looking to create moving forward.
Yeah.
And the only thing that would stop me from it, Jay, is me not doing it.
Yeah, it is. I like it. Along the same lines, I have been thinking a lot and even doing, not feeling obligated is the wrong word because I don't feel obligated in the sense that I have to. I feel obligated in the sense that oh, there's a space free, I'm going to say yes. To, like, I had a guy who's coming into town reach out to me and say, hey, I'd love to meet with you. But like, there was actually no purpose in the meeting for me, which, okay, this is going to sound like but I'm trying to get my time back.
Yeah. You have to say no to stuff.
Yeah.
We have to.
And I say no to a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think there's another layer of no's that I often say yes to because I have the spot available and it's a cool person or whatever, or but I'm starting to realize, like, I have to be okay with not filling every single second in my calendar. So that's the other piece to me that is like, if I almost feel guilty if I have a space in my day that isn't jam packed.
Right. Like you didn't do something, you didn't work hard enough.
Well, I'm missing an opportunity.
Yeah.
It's efficiency for me. It's the maximizer. It's the guy that's saying, like, you could be moving the needle forward here. You could be making creating an opportunity here. You could whatever.
Or you could go out to the dam, sit and think and allow the Lord to give you a revelation of the greatest idea you could have ever had on the next project.
Yeah. So in my mind, I am starting to work towards that some more.
I think that's a big part, is not having everything so packed full and jam full. I think one of the things he unpacks early on in the book is the invention of time in the first sundial, and then the first time there was a clock in a town square, and that ever since then, we've literally just been putting people on a time frame that we weren't meant to be on. Because back then, people were sleeping 12 hours a day because that's how much the body needed.
Yeah.
Now, if you sleep, it's a badge of honor. I go on 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
Right.
This is true.
Like, oh, wow, you're a man. You should come to BraveCo next year. We need you to preach on manliness,
Yeah.
And I think one of the bubbles that he's popping is that you have to always be doing something to be productive.
It'd be interesting though, is to actually sit down and calculate what's moving the needle in your life.
Yeah.
Where you're getting the
most return for your investment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I think if I were to really, really assess, it's less than what I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think if I planned out my day better, I'd have more time at the end and be more efficient throughout it.
And be more energetic probably when you go home to the kids. And it's the interesting thing to this is it reminds me, so this week, as people have been seeing this, people laugh at first, but almost everybody has the same response.
Of course.
Gosh, it sounds amazing.
I know.
You know what it reminds me of? Caleb's in travel ball. My oldest son does travel baseball.
Oh yeah.
We were on this team a couple years ago that they would on a Monday say, hey, we got a tournament for this coming weekend. Does anybody want to join? They'd come out at a practice. All the parents are sitting there at practice pickup, grumbling. Oh, I don't want another tournament this weekend. Why would we do another tournament? Oh, da, 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 da. And then you look at the group text thread. Absolutely. So-and-so's in. So-and-so's in. So-and-so's in. We can't wait. So-and-so's excited to play again, coach.
Yeah. They weren't.
Nobody really wants this.
Yeah.
We just all act like we do because it's the badge of honor that we've been told to get.
Well, I don't even know that it's that. It's that, and I'm not discounting that.
Okay.
I'm saying there is a sense of obligation to keep this thing going.
So, and my pushback is that this way isn't a less productive way. It's a more focused way.
No, and I agree with you. It's the sense.
The sense is that it's less productive.
The sense of obligation that I have to keep this going. That it's like people are more informed than ever. There's more information than ever.
Yeah.
And we're more educated than ever. But we're definitely not
More intelligent.
more intelligent or more productive,
Right.
or more capable. You know, when I look at men, I think like, man, men have better education. We have better access to tools than we ever have, but we are not healthier than we've ever been
Right.
by a long shot.
100%.
So I'm with you, dude.
Check it out, folks.
I am.
Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, John Mark Comer.
Yeah, I'm going to think through this, and maybe we could get him on the podcast.
Yeah, it'd be great.
That would be sweet.
Be fun.
Yeah. And think through, I need to think through this.
I want to have all my new life changes happen before we have him on the podcast, though, so I can, I don't want to get ripped up more than I've already been ripped up in the last week by his book. I don't know what in person would even be like.
He'd be awesome, dude.
He would be awesome.
Yeah. All right, BraveCo Men, do what I'm going to do. Seriously. Get in your car and don't ever think about this again. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to go back. I really am. I've been thinking about it a lot. Maybe this is the push I needed to, I just need to reevaluate. We got to actually reevaluate what creates value in your life. Okay. This last thing that I'll say.
We were almost done, but we're not quite.
Yeah. Everyone wants to live a life of peace. I've been thinking about this a lot.
Yeah.
Like if you really thought about it, you would trade almost anything for peace.
Mm-hmm.
Like real
yeah,
peace.
it's true. I agree with that.
So like you have you could have $1 million, but your life is rushed. You have to keep it up. You got anxiety all the time, or you can have
peace and be poor.
Peace and be sustained.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Which one are you choosing?
Peace and be sustained.
Yeah. You could have kids that have all kinds of stuff but it's chaotic, but they play sports, they do all stuff. Or you could have kids that are loving and caring and healthy and peaceful. Which one are you choosing? Like every time you go back to peace, right?
Yep.
Like you could have a marriage where you travel all around the world and you go and do all this stuff, but it's chaotic. And you go back to like, I want a marriage that feels connected, that feels close, that feels peaceful. And so I really have been thinking so much about what really creates a life of peace. And it's not just getting rid of stuff, because
it's true.
There's people that live with, there's minimalists that do not have a peaceful life.
Yep.
So we know that it's the emotional work, but so I guess I'm wanting guys to leave here and go, what would it look like to live a life of peace?
Yeah, it's great.
Because we have to work hard.
Yep.
We need to work hard. It's great for us. We need to be responsible.
Yep.
Yeah. Being on social media it's not a sin, and
nope.
And it's not pointless either. Like this is part of the world that we are inheriting.
Yeah.
So we can't just abandon it.
Yep.
And go, there's no good in it. To me, it's like alcohol. Well, I don't even drink alcohol, but
yeah,
it is. It's like, well, does it manage you or do you manage it?
Right.
But ultimately, what does it look like to live a life of peace?
It's a great question.
Peace and production. So that's my question I'm asking me. All right, guys. Love y'all. See you next week. Hey, BraveCo Men. Hopefully you loved this week's episode. Listen, if you have not subscribed to our podcast, you are already behind. Go ahead and click right here to subscribe to our podcast. And if you have not watched last week's episode, you can click right here and watch last week's episode. And listen, if you want to upgrade your wardrobe, you can check out some of our new hats that we have in stock and all our other swag. Go to braveco.org and you can look at our store there. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.